In a forgotten corner of Yoruba land, in a small thatched home built from mud and sweat, lived a humble man named Adeolu, his wife Anya, and their only son, Adeolu. Life was harsh. The family wore tattered clothes, shared small meals, and endured each day under the weight of poverty. Yet, within their suffering, lived hope. Young Adeolu's eyes carried dreams too big for the boundaries of the village. Though poor, his spirit was rich, and his parents, despite their struggles, poured every ounce of love into him. At 15, Adeolu's journey began. Adeolu, holding a tears, balanced a wooden box filled with his belongings on his. Adewale and Adeolu walked together, in silence, to the village motor park. There were no trumpets, no grand farewells, just dust, hope, and a father's silent prayer. He handed over his son to the unknown world, whispering blessings only his heart could hear. He didn't know it then. But that walk was the last time he would see his son and recognize him. The town was different, loud, busy, demanding. But Adeolu did not flinch. He worked as an apprentice in a carpentry shop, carrying heavy planks, learning to cut, sand, and build. In the sawmill, he shaped wood as life shaped him. Each nail he hammered was a strike against poverty. Each callus on his hand was a mark of progress. In the face of hardship, he didn't just survive, he grew. And slowly, the boy who once walked barefoot began to walk into his destiny. 10 years passed, and the boy became a man. Adeolu was no longer an apprentice. He was a master of his trade, a business owner with his own sawmill, respected, wealthy, and admired. He wore sharp English suits now, with polished shoes and the confidence of one who had conquered struggle. But success did not erase his past. Beneath the fine clothes and new life beat the heart of a boy who never forgot home. And one night, he decided to return. He arrived in the dead of night. The village was quiet, bathed in moonlight, but unfamiliar. Houses had changed. Roads looked different. He walked through the silence, trying to find his father's house. But nothing looked the same. The man who had come back to give could not find those he had left behind. And so he did what he had not done since he was a child. He went to the palace to seek guidance. The palace was regal, built with tradition and pride. Seated on the throne was the village king. Adeolu bowed. With deep respect, he spoke. "Your Majesty, I am Adeolu, son of Adewale. I left this village 10 years ago. I have returned, but I cannot find my father's house." The king, intrigued and moved, promised to help, and at once his guards were sent to lead the young man back to his roots. The guards walked with Adeolu under the stars, leading him down paths lined with memories too faded to recall. Finally, they stopped at a small house, quiet, weathered, and familiar only to time. Inside, an old couple stirred, unaware that destiny was knocking at their door. Adeolu stepped inside. He smiled. They looked at him with cautious welcome. They did not know this man, and he did not know he was home. He handed them a briefcase, filled with money. "Please, Mama, cook something hot for the night," he said kindly. They received the stranger with a mix of suspicion and gratitude. He sat, they talked, but none of them saw the truth. The man they had once raised now sat before them, rich, grown, changed by time, and they, aged, broken, unfamiliar. What should have been a joyful reunion became a missed miracle. As the moon passed its highest point, and the village lay deep in sleep, two shadows whispered in the dark. "This stranger, he must be a thief or ritualist," Anya murmured. Adewale, fearing for his life, replied, "If we kill him, We take the money and keep our home safe. And so, a plan was made. A wicked plan born of fear and desperation. A plan to kill a stranger they had already loved once, as their son. He slept peacefully, trusting the home he believed he had returned to. But in the silence, Adewale crept forward and climbed on his chest, his hands wrapped around the young man's neck. Anya held down his legs as he struggled. Adeolu's eyes burst open in terror. He fought, gasped, choked, but it was too late. In the house that raised him, on the mat he once lay as a child, his own father strangled him to death, and none of them knew. Morning came with whispers. The king called them Adewale and Anya. There in the palace hall, the truth was spoken. The young man they had murdered was their son, the child they prayed for, the boy they sent to town. Silence gripped the room like a curse, and in that moment of horror, Anya collapsed, her heart shattered by truth, crushed by guilt. She died at the feet of the king, without a word. Adewale stood still, empty, alone. His hands, once used to guide his son, had become the very tools of death. The silence in the palace screamed louder than 1,000 voices. There were no more words, only the echo of a mistake too deep to undo, and a silence that would live with Adewale forever.